I don't know how I'm gonna continually do this, but I find a way how I can get, fair and wisdom is what we're gonna finish the night off with. Here we are. Um, Proverbs 2, chapter 2. My child, listen to what I say and treasure my commands. Tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasures. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. For the Lord grants wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. And that's Proverbs chapter 2, verse 1 through 7. And that ends the reading of the word. So guys, I want to talk about wisdom. And again, this is just off the cusp. And I say that everything that I do isn't off the cusp. It's led, by an unctioning, by the spirit within me, and the things that have happened throughout the day that I'm formulating and putting together, and want to just give to you guys in the right way. And like I said, I don't feel equipped for this. I feel like God has called me to do this, and I just want to be faithful and obedient to him, because I've disappointed him so many times. But we're not going to make this one of those lives. We're going to make this about tres W's: wisdom, warfare, worship. And with wisdom, I feel like in this day and age, everybody feels like they're wise in some sort of way. I myself, sound like Paul, Paul, am the chief of sinners. I myself am considered, I feel like I have the least amount of wisdom. And I say that humbly, not in a way of saying that of toxic humility or undermining myself, but I just feel like I'm just late to the party, so to speak, with learning things and getting acclimated into who I am in the image of Christ. And as I say late to the party, the metaphor I use, and I've been saying that for a while, and I say that because I feel like I'm learning things that I should have learned prior. I feel like I'm learning things that I should have been abreast with and using in my daily waking life. Instead, I just, was not seeking wisdom. I wasn't seeking proper guidance. I wasn't seeking proper skills that would take me further than just satisfying my loins or satisfying my eyes or satisfying my flesh. And that's not anything of wisdom. That's just instant gratification. But one of the wisest people in the Bible, Solomon, King David's son, the Lord asked him, what did he want? And he didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for gold. He didn't ask for wives. He didn't ask for property. He asked for wisdom. And it says, in all thy understanding, get wisdom. In the Bible, I believe. Forgive me if I'm quoting that wrong, but wisdom is something that none of us can afford to not have. And with wisdom, that leads into areas of discernment, that leads into areas of awareness, that leads into areas of being accountable, that leads into areas of being able to make proper decisions that will lead you into one way or another. But, having wisdom is something that is needed. And for me, wisdom seems like it evaded me. It feels like I wasn't pursuing wisdom. I was pursuing more so validation. And with wisdom, I feel like, and this is my opinion, and I submit this to you, wisdom is the only thing that pays dividends continually. Validation, if you seek it from people, it's only going to be filled when you get that approval, that applause from men or from women or from whoever you're seeking it from. But with wisdom, that's something that's going to pay dividends continuously if you allow it to be deposited into you once you seek it and you get the right wisdom, because you can have wisdom in doing a myriad of wrong things and you can have wisdom doing a myriad of right things. But having wisdom will alleviate a lot of things in your life. It'll alleviate stress. It'll alleviate bad habits. It'll alleviate addictions. It'll alleviate bad choices. It'll alleviate poor health. It'll alleviate joblessness. And it'll alleviate low self-esteem, because you'll have a, you know, sneeze coming. Reach. Um, he definitely made it his business to put a plan in place for him to follow, to where he said he had to deny himself, you know, relationships with women, doing certain fun things with friends, seeking to, you know, satisfy not just his flesh, but seeking to satisfy certain things that aren't harmful, but that he could deny in the meantime to get other things done. And that's what wisdom will do. Wisdom will give you an understanding on where you're going and where you need to be, on what you don't need to be and what you don't need to do. And it'll give you a proper plan if you use it to propel you and get you there. Now, that's not to say you're going to automatically achieve your goals, because you may do everything that you need to do to plan it and still not get there. But wisdom will help you keep going. Wisdom will help you formulate a way of not stopping. Wisdom will help you say, you know what, well, this didn't work this time. On the 10th time, you know what, maybe I'll seek this way. Maybe I'll ask this person. Maybe I'll turn it to the left. Maybe I'll turn it to the right. But biblically speaking, a lot of the biblical figures in the Bible that, you know, sought wisdom did great things. You know, for one, I think of King David, you know, a man after God's own heart. You know, he not only was a man after God's own heart, he had some poor decisions, but the wisdom in him knew he couldn't live without coming to God and repenting and keeping his heart pure. So the wisdom that he had within him was more self-awareness. And that self-awareness is a part of wisdom, because if you're not self-aware and know, hey, you know what, as he said in Psalm 51, I've sinned against you, Lord, and only you. Like, that's wisdom in his heart saying, I need to get this right. I need to make myself cleansed and purged, you know, by repenting and seeking to get this right, and coming to Christ, so he can cleanse me, so I can have that right standing relationship with him. That wisdom that he sought and had was that self-awareness, which is a part of wisdom. If you look at Joshua, when Joshua was coming into Canaan, and he was doing certain things and leading the people from the information that he got from Moses, he used the wisdom and the insight to take over the land and occupy the land where there was milk and honey, and actually thrive and actually live and make proper decisions. Who else in the Bible? Paul. Or not even Paul, Jesus Christ. And I hope I'm using this metaphor correctly, but Jesus Christ had the wisdom to know when he was tempted by the devil after the 40 days that he didn't need to use his supernatural powers to appease the devil. That was wisdom, because he didn't allow the arrogance to come over him and say, you know what, let me turn these stones into bread, which the enemy was trying to make him do, or let me jump off this ledge, which was the enemy was trying to do, so I can get, you know, the angels to save me. Like, he used the wisdom and said, I don't need to prove anything to you. You know, he used wisdom, which is intellect, over the emotions. And emotions aren't bad. We need to feel those, but sometimes when we are overly emotional, our wisdom can sort of get tainted in the moment if we aren't strong enough and deeply rooted and know these emotions, that I'm feeling are just a temporary feeling. They're going to come, they're going to go, but I have to process them, and I can't get caught up in those. I need to be wise, because me doing something right now could cost me something in the future. That's being wise. That's having wisdom. You know, you saying, to yourself, hey, you know what, I got this job and I'm only making $500 and I have 3 bills and I have to live off the $50 for, the next 2 weeks. Wisdom would say, hey, I'm not going to go and buy a shirt for $25 out of my only $50 that I need to stretch. Wisdom would say, okay, hey, I need to get some food. I need to maybe get a bus pass. I maybe need to get some toiletries. Wisdom would be responsible and allow you to make the proper choices. And I'm not going to say that wisdom is something that you automatically get. Wisdom, and I submit this to you, what I'm learning is you get wisdom through experience and through seeking. Because once you go through something, you can apply the lesson that you've learned if you weren't able to come out of it unscathed, so to speak. And when I say unscathed, I mean you didn't come out of it the way you thought, and something maybe was taken from you, or you allowed yourself to lose something. You can allow yourself to use that loss not as a loss but as a lesson, and you gain wisdom from that. But if you don't allow yourself to, how can I say, utilize wisdom, you're just going to be tossed to and fro. And when you do come into certain cycles and certain seasons, you'll just be repeating that. And that's a warfare tactic of the enemy. The enemy could say, you know what, just right around this time, every fall, so-and-so gets really, really excited about doing this thing. So I'll throw something at them that makes them, none the wiser, because they aren't paying attention and self-aware. To around this time, they usually get a little bit riled up. So I'll throw some more stuff at them and make them miss opportunities. Wisdom would allow you again to be self-aware and say, you know what, around this certain time of the year, I usually get a little riled up. Let me look at myself and see why that is. What triggers me? Wisdom would allow you to search within. And that's what I submit that not only I need to do, but I feel like people, if they try to do, not just seek wisdom, but be self-aware, there will be less catastrophes, less mass shootings. People still have a choice of what they do, and you could be as smart as you want and still make a bad decision in a blink of an eye because you let your emotions get the best of you. But you'll be less susceptible to that if you are aware and you're seeking wisdom. Wisdom is very, very important, and wisdom can save you, or, wisdom, if you don't have it, it could possibly put you in bad scenarios. And I just want to say, wisdom is a tactic that the enemy doesn't want us to be wise. He wants us to be foolish. As my pastor says, ignorance is like living in the dark. So when you're living in the dark, you're not seeing, not just physically, you're not seeing spiritually, you're not seeing mentally, you're not seeing from your heart, and you're not allowing yourself to be wise to make the proper decisions, and you won't be able to worship. So it's like a threefold. If you don't have the wisdom, you won't be able to make the proper decisions in warfare to supersede and beat the enemy, because we're not working from a place of attaining victory. We already have it. We already have victory. Jesus Christ won. But if we don't use wisdom and say, hey, you know what? I don't have to fight this way. I don't have to have that clap back. I don't have to feel this way because I've already won. Let me be wise and fight the right way, which is through prayer. The enemy will win. And we won't be able to worship and give God the glory and exalt his name as we always and should be doing. But guys, I think I spoke too long. Again, this is Thrace Wednesday. The first one, God willing, of many. I appreciate you all for listening and taking the time out and subscribing and leaving the comments. Again, it means the world to me, but what means the world to me more is God being glorified, and that you guys are looking to seek him, that you guys are looking to grow in relation with him, and more importantly, you guys are looking to discover your purpose in your walk in life so you can live, the way that you're supposed to for the kingdom, doing what he's called you and purposed you for, because we all have a unique purpose and we all have a unique design that he created each and every one of us for. So I pray that God is getting the glory from you, not only coming on here and listening and subscribing and hearing, but also from you, for me, stirring the gift in you, as Paul said to Timothy, and cultivate some things in yourself to say, hey, you know what are my gifts? What can I do? Where can I serve? Where can I, prophesy? Where can I give? Where can I teach? These are some of the, spiritual gifts that we have. And I pray that God would be glorified and you would exalt him above all things, because I'm not doing this in my own strength, okay? This is all of Christ and none of me. And I just want to say, to God be the glory forever and ever. But before we go, I just want to let you guys know God sees you, God hears you, and God loves you. And so do I. Happy Thrace Wednesday, the first of many, God willing. And I hope you guys have a great night. Peace.